Hey guys, Ledgerray here, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. And as the CRL West season starts to kick off today, I am on today with KFC Clash here. Welcome to the channel, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? KFC Clash here. It's an honor to be on this channel. What a glorious channel we're on. I make videos every day if you want to check me out. Just sharing the best decks, and yeah.
Alright, so today we're going to be going over our top 5 rankings on our predictions for how this CRL season is going to be going. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the rankings. Alright, so my number 5 is actually going to be Pain Gaming. They were an esports team that was actually in the Latin American CRL season last year, and just looking at their roster, there's a ton of recognizable names. Wen, Ladder God, Carnage, Icebo God, Surge, someone who's just been on Clash of Clans channel a ton of times, so quite a few well-known players, so that's why I ranked it number 5.
For my number 5, I'm gonna have to go with Fnatic. So I didn't watch too much of Latin America last season, so I don't know too much about Pain, but for Fnatic, I know quite a bit about them. So consisting of Faye, Javi14, Asuchini, and Mikhail04. Mikhail04's obviously, he finished number 1 on ladder with P.E.K.K.A Bridge Spam, so incredible. Asuchini, giant Sparky God. Javi14, he was in the World Finals last season, so he's obviously an insane player at 1v1. I'm interested to see how that roster will be looking for 2v2 and 1v1. And for the last player, they've got Faye, who's consistently top ladder, really good comp player. And yeah, I just think they're a really good roster for number 5. I do think, though, there are really strong options in this CRL.
I know, yeah, they're just looking at like all the players, there's so many well-known people. Alright, so moving on to number 4. My number 4 is going to be Tribe Gaming. Tribe Gaming did relatively well in CRL last season. Just looking at the roster again, J Monty, B-Rad, and Tommy were really solid last season, especially Tommy. I remember seeing him just sweep teams in King of the Hill and stuff like that. And in addition to that, B-Rad is really well known for playing Miner Control, which is a really safe deck to play, and especially in a CRL season without bans, you know, it's really good to balance players who are more one-tricks as well as players who can play a lot of different decks. So that's why I have them as number 4.
So for my number 4, I have SK Gaming, and now their roster is so stacked this season. So obviously, Soaking, Morten, Sergio Ramos, XOP, X Sam. Soaking, incredible stud for Team Queso last season, who made it to the World Finals. 1v1 God. Morten, Bait God. He's ridiculously good at 2v2 and 1v1. Sergio Ramos, CCGS World Finals. Wow, guys, this roster. And XOP X Sam, who really last season, he just came out of nowhere, destroyed a lot of 1v1s, and the real mad scientist deck creator. So I'm sure he'll be really good for helping in the 2v2 and the 1v1 area for SK. And so that's why they got them number 4 on the list.
Yeah, and another thing about Sergio Ramos, he was actually the world champion. So I mean, he's got like a big, I mean, I'm sure he's one of the most well-known players in the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's one of the biggest players for sure, winning literally the first worldwide competition in CR history, really.
Alright, well, moving on to number 3, I actually have Fnatic, which is also on your list as well, but I placed mine a little bit higher. Now, looking at the people on the team, Asuchini is really good at Sparky, and again, no bans, so he does not have to worry about anything at all. And adding on to that, Javi14, I saw him play first in the World Finals, and I gotta say, I was really impressed. Again, his matchups against Nova Esports just really showed off, you know, how good he was.
Absolutely. For my number 3, I've got the stud, the Mad Titans, Team Liquid, with Surgical Goblin, Diego B, Buffmac, and Canario. Now, I've got them number 3. I mean, some of you may think they should be higher, but here's the thing. So, they've got so many good 1v1 players, but last season they kind of struggled in 2v2, and they're actually adding on another 1v1 player, so it'd be interesting to see who they put forth. So, Canario, he was actually voted the number 1 CRL player last season on the esports page on Twitter. And Buffmac, obviously incredible ladder player, so he's going to be super solid in 2v2 or 1v1, wherever you put him. Diego B, incredibly versatile, god tier player, and obviously Surgical Goblin, who's like considered one of the best of all time. So I do have that number 3, but you'll just, my top 2 guys, oh, just wait for it.
On to number 2. My number 2 is actually going to be the Immortals. The Immortals, obviously winning CRL North America last year. They're just adding one new player, Lopockety. He is one of the mortar gods out there. And adding on to that, Royal, Golem God, and the God RF and Ockrap are like the two like really solid 2v2 guys. So they not only have a really solid 2v2 team, but they also have really solid 1v1 players. So that's why I have them as number 2.
So for my number 2, I've actually got Complexity, right? So they were the ones that came so close to qualifying for the World Finals last year, but just lost to Immortals in the last few games. And they have Colton, W83, Adrian Piedra, Raza, Vulcan, and Airsurfer. So Airsurfer was a late pickup, but he just won a competition called the Marino Cup, which is the most stacked competition for short, had all the pros. Vulcan obviously absolutely dominant until XOP Sam took over Vulcan last season. And there's Raza, who was incredible at 2v2 with Colton, and 1v1, he actually was the Kingslayer, and Adrian Piedra also good at 1v1, and especially 2v2, so I reckon they've got a really good 2v2 roster as well as 1v1, and they have an incredible coach or analyst, Mobile Matt, so that's why I think they are number 2, and are really, like, just well-rounded in each area of the game in CRL format.
And I would totally agree, because moving on to number 1, my number 1 ranking is actually Complexity. I mean, when I saw the Complexity roster, the first thing I thought was just like, wow, they look absolutely stacked. I mean, Razzer and Colton were they just went off on 2v2 last season, and Airsurfer, Vulcan, Adrian Piedra are one of the most solid 1v1 players. I mean, you hear Airsurfer and Vulcan, you probably will think like Expo, but like Airsurfer and Vulcan are actually really versatile. I saw them last season, they didn't do too well, but that was mainly because they only had 3 players on their CRL team for the most part, so they had to kind of hold their own, and yeah, they just kind of struggled. But this time they have a team of 5, they have an analyst, some of the historically just best performing players, so that's why I think that they might just take this entire CRL season.
Yeah, having an analyst and coach is pretty important, and this is funny because my number 1 is actually your number 2, which is Immortals, guys. Like, incredible roster. Obviously, they won the whole NA season. So they've got Royal, Arkrap, GodRF, and Lopockety, right? Royal, obviously, consistent, like, beast at Golem. Like, he's always high on ladder. He destroyed last season. Arkrap, GodRF, incredible. Like, 2v2 guys, you have to take that into account. Really good combination with Arkrap and GodRF. Always taking the 2v2 sets. And Lopockety, like, he is you can't underestimate Lopockety. He's got 2 accounts right now. 2 of his accounts in the top 20 global of ladder. He's known for Mortar, but he actually did a best of 5 versus Buffmac a while ago for money, and he actually went 2-0 up, then it was 2-all, and he beat Buffmac 3-2, and but he told Buffmac to keep his money because it was best of 5 for money. So he's not just a Mortar player, he's really versatile, so I'm really interested to see how he does this season. But yeah, Immortals, guys, I reckon they're going to take it.
Yeah, alright, so there we go. That is our predictions on how we think this CRL season will play out. Of course, in just a couple of hours, there will be the very first CRL West stream, so I can't wait to stay tuned for that. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendary, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.